beautiful master energy healer, Alicia Power. She is also a spirit communicator who's been working with the creator beings. They are senior level spirit guides, spirit allies. And as we are going to witness today, we're going to be working with them. Alicia will be facilitating this as we learn about how we can tune in and work with these beings for health, purpose, and alignment. Alicia, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited also for this topic today. It's a little bit unusual. We just very quickly, we usually are going to, normally we work with very high layers of the worlds of spirit, and we're receiving beautiful light infusions from the worlds of spirit, very, very high up in the echelons, in the realms of creator beings. Today, we are diving back down into the physical dimension, and we're going to be looking at the fabric of the quantum fields that underpin our physical body. And for some reason, my primary spirit tutors, who are these creator beings, wanted to nurture and cuddle everybody in that humanness that we have, our human body, our human personality, our human life, our human days as we move through our days, and those physical, emotional, psychological issues that we walk through every single day. So they just wanted to come all the way back down and kind of look after us on that human level today. So we're going to have just an incredible time. We're going to be going into our own sort of energy maps of our body, the energy blueprints of our body. And I just want to say right up front that recently I looked in New Scientist, and there was an article of, in laboratories, double-blind studies, scientists are now studying those energy blueprints, and they are manipulating them and watching how, when they manipulate them and tweak those energy blueprints, those quantum electromagnetic maps in the quantum, how the physical changes. For example, they're working with, I think, tadpole embryos or something like that, or something. And I can't quite remember in the article, but excuse me, a little bit unusual. They were just watching how, when they changed the energy blueprints in a particular way, that they changed how, say, like a tadpole or something showed up and turned out. Direct manipulation of those energy blueprints. And I'm just mentioning this article because it just helps our logical mind to feel settled and go, okay, this is not that woo-woo. If scientists are being literally hands-on on those quantum fields, on those maps, those energy maps, and are learning how to work with them and manipulate them, then we can too, except there's a tiny difference. And we're going to be working with this today. We're going to reach into the worlds of spirit and ask very experienced energy blueprint, energy map technicians to do the tweaking, and to do it to support us, to optimize us in a snapshot, wherever we're at, wherever our body's at, wherever our psychology's at, etc. So I just want laying the groundwork a little bit here for our logical mind to realize that this is a thing. This is actually really, really real. And I've been, 30 years ago, I had clients on my energy healing table and working with spirit technician teams, and them going into those energy blueprints, and they started to show me how to watch what they were doing. Like, they showed me how to calm down enough in my mind and my logic and kind of go into a zone and watch them do that energy shifting and energy repatterning of those blueprints for psychological change, for even for soul advancement change. And to definitely, I've been working with that, with my own physical body, with my family, with physical issues. It's not necessarily an overnight miracle change, but boy, you can just see, if it's an infection, or if it's a whole body infection, or if it's just something where the physical body is in a destructive pattern or a deterioration pattern. When these quantum technicians go into those energy blueprints and excuse me, they do all kinds of things. Hey guys, there's just so much to talk about here, how they work with these matrices. And the thing that they were talking to me about just before we came on this call, might be a moment, was that these energy matrices, I'm not sure if scientists are quite aware of this yet. I'm not sure. But my spirit tutors were saying to me that these energy matrices are awake and they are conscious. And many healers in the spiritual development movement work in this way, within the quantum blueprints, working with their consciousness into the consciousness of these energetic blueprints. I'm definitely not the only one. It's like there's so many beautiful modalities out there. Therapeutic touch in hospitals, reiki, so many different systems, and so many beautiful training, global training institutions and organizations that train people how to do this. So just letting you know, this is not like unusual. This is already a thing. But let's just talk about those energy maps and how they work and how the spirit technicians work with them, because this is the key, really. This is the key. This is the relationship, that how they view and how they work and how they interrelate with these energy maps of the physical, say the physical body, underpinning the physical body, underpinning our emotions, underpinning our soul bodies, underpinning our psychology, etc. So they're saying that these energy matrices are awake, they are conscious, they are sentient. And when a beautiful, high angelic spirit technician being is invited by a human like me or like you to travel in and scan to something specific, because we've given them, and I'll teach you in a moment, why it's important, and sort of the languaging and how to do the instructing, and using human intention through your instruction to guide one of these spirit technicians to a specific issue in your body or psychology or something, whatever it is. But what they do is they not only find that matrix and that blueprint, they travel into it and they start interacting with it. They sing, they use that term, they sing to it. And when I use that word singing, I used to sing a lot, but when they say to me and they're using that term, that word sing, to me that's like a heartfelt flow of love, right? Like a sound bath love flow towards that patch, which is that patch of that matrix, which needs love, which needs interaction, which needs sort of recognition of where it's at that moment. And in that moment of that bath, of that psychic sound as they're singing to it, this is just an example of one thing that they start doing if they feel to, if they think it's important to use that way of interacting with it. It just, that fabric, and they're showing me right now in my mind, that fabric starts to hum and vibrate differently. It sort of shakes up the contraction, it shakes up the concreting, it shakes up the fear energy, it shakes up any other kind of destructive energy that's sitting in that matrix. It starts to vibrate it. And then with the consciousness and the intention and the focus and the attention of these spirit technicians, that loosened energy, that loosened concreted energy fear energy, whatever it is, starts to get vacuumed, very, very specifically using that word, because it's getting sucked up and out of your entire electromagnetic system. It's just getting pulled right out like pieces of stuff, right? Pieces of consciousness gets just pulled right out. And then these beings come in and use their specific rays of light, which is actually their love consciousness, pouring their specific light frequency through like a ray straight into that matrix, again vibrating it, but this time repatterning and reknitting and embedding healthy light, healthy software into that matrix. And this is really important, they're telling me to say right now. And that's because the software's got an instruction, that new light that's going in there, it's got an instruction. And they're telling me right now in my mind, it's got an instruction not only to heal, but it's got an extra volume edge to ward off any interruption to the healing. It's like not only heal, but that the intention's very strong. It's not just a light intention to heal. It's like, okay, this is high intention, strong intention, up to 100% intention that healing happens. And I just want to say that from an outcome, from a result, from the outside world, in the physical dimension point of view, this is, again, it's not an overnight change in the physical tissue or in the physical body, but you can imagine how the cell replication, and literally I'm just, specifically talking about this because it's all about cells, it's all about DNA, it's all about that, all those beautiful components of our physicality, all in harmony, working together, dancing together, right? Like an orchestra, all deciding to be harmoniously together, living as an organism, which is our human body, right? All the tiny little components, the atoms, all the way up to the cells, mitochondria, oxygen, intracellular fluid, so many different components of one little cell, but just all of them starting to dance in that light, all of them starting to harmonize and agreeing to stay healthy. And all of it because that underpinning matrix has an intention, has a software, an instruction in it, which is resonating and delivering an underlying instruction to the cells to stay relaxed and calm and to stay in an optimized state. So that would probably start off where the cells are not optimized, where that physical level in the physical solid dimension initially, whatever the physical issue is, could actually be quite chronic. It's not an acute situation, which is just a sudden accidental, fast one-time issue in the body. It could actually be a long, deeply embedded chronic issue in the body or whatever. But I'm just saying that it's a domino effect where just slowly that strengthening happens down in the blueprint. So I'm giving you guys a really quick sort of overview of the dynamic of what happens with electromagnetics and with partnering with spirit technicians, and how it starts to play out, how it starts to roll out, how it starts to affect the physical body. Yeah. And I've got, just a few examples. I've just had a family member who had quite a bad, kind of like a skin cancer thing on their leg, and it was very infected. The leg was swollen just recently, excuse me. And I was working on it, and just every day regularly going in with my spirit technician teams. This is just an example. And taking a look inside that region of this person's body. And I'm sure this audience will be very interested to just kind of hear what was being looked at by me, by these spirit technician teams, what was being looked at. So interestingly, there was an issue there, not just in the immediate physical blueprints, but there was an issue there of, and again, many spiritual healers know about this, there was an issue there of historic, because the energy blueprints don't just relate to this physical lifetime. Many people know this. They relate to historic lifetimes too. There's resonance of memory of what happened in other soul existences and other human lifetimes. For example, where the map of the human body got interfered with, where something quite drastic happened in our human spacesuit, in our human body, in another lifetime. And the memory of that still resonates in wherever that damage occurred in our human body. So in this case, this person had past lives where that leg had been severely damaged, like really, really badly damaged. I think it might have even been amputated or something. But the map, the energy map, was very disturbed. Like it had so much soul memory, like from other existences, memory still humming in that blueprint. So this is, for those of you who haven't heard about this before, this is very important for you guys to know that it's not just one-dimensional. It's not just this lifetime. And if there's an occurrence of injuries or physical issues in one side of the body or in one part of the body, then there will be layers and layers and layers of soul memory of, the physical body having gone through trauma, and the energy maps holding on to the trauma memory from other existences in that part of the body. So that needs to be looked at by the spirit technician teams as well. And they actually need to go in and look at that, the interaction of that trauma of what happened there, and start cleaning that up, those layers of memory from those other existences where some trauma occurred. So that actually needs to be also sung to, or gone in and have a deal-making moment, conversation with the origin of that trauma in those layers, in that lifetime, and taking a look of is there earlier lifetimes or other parallel lifetimes that also are connected to a theme in that part of the body from anything else, in the multiverse. So, and that's the reason why, just right there, I just want to quickly say, you can hear how complex it starts to get in terms of real clearing and real healing, not just surface layer, not just this lifetime layer. And that's the reason why, from my point of view, right, 30 years ago when I started to work in partnership with spirit technicians in the blueprints, my immediate style of healing, because there's many styles of spirit healings and energy healing, I just right up front, straight away, from the very first second, knew that I had to get out of the way and let these spirit technicians do the work. And my job was to, in a quantum reality, the human consciousness and the human attention is everything. And I knew my job was to watch. My job was to give permissions. My job was, while I was watching and in the middle of some of this repatterning, the spirit technicians would turn to me and ask for permissions. So I had to be attentive sometimes to the process, a lot of the time. And I knew that was my role, was to use that quantum attention into the process of a shift in the quantum fabric. So just letting you guys know that we have a role. But what I was going to say was, right at that very first second, I knew I had to get out of the way. I was not going to push my way in and say to these teams, guys, can you get out of the way for a moment? I've got to do a modality that I've learnt for a couple of years or even 10 years out of college. And I want to just use this for this in this moment. I just said, none of that. You guys do it. I'm in attendance with your teams. I'm just watching. I'm adding my human consciousness to this moment with you. And you guys teach me how to use my human attention in that moment, which is what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. And we're about to dive into a process where you're going to be looking into your body, and we're going to be working with an issue for everyone on this call today. We're going to be working on an issue with in attendance with these spirit technician teams. And so you guys can get a bit of a taste of watching as they work. But I just want to say right up front, and I used to, when I was teaching this style of energy healing 30 years ago to groups, the thing I would always say was just let them do it. Don't think that you're, as somebody I know very well calls, don't think you're a genius, and go in with some modality that you've learned for 2 years. These guys are trained for eons and eons and light years and light years. They are just so high level technicians. They know what they're doing. And I quite often used to use the story of, in my energy healings, when I'd talk to them and ask them questions, or even ask them about that thing of, what if somebody's got a modality and they want to do it? They'd say, well, they would just politely stop everything, and all the teams, the thousands of angelic teams that are in attendance, everybody pause, go on pause and stop until the human finishes their modality, and then they'd start again. You guys getting it? It's like these that's very polite. Excuse me, they're very polite, and but the fastest way to the result is just to let them do it, and just get out of the way and don't think we know much about this science of light weaving, because these beings are the experts. But we have a role to play. And they're telling me to say, we have a role to play to amplify our attention, to amplify the human longing for the healing, because our human longing drives quantum shift. The human longing is everything. So if you've got a genuine longing, a genuine connection to another person that you're asking help for, or your own honest, sincere longing for something to shift in you, that is the currency. That's the power that we have as humans, is our human longing. Because way below logic is where the spirit world interacts. So it's not an intellectual exercise, it's a feeling exercise when we are interacting with spirit. Just letting you guys know, lots of tips there, lots and lots of tips. Lorraine, you had a question.
I think you've answered the question. It was, do we need to even be aware of that energy map as we get out of the way? Do we even need to be aware of the past life, for example? Or will it be naturally revealed? Or do we just relax and let the work be done?
Okay, awesome question, because I'm going to dive into a tiny bit of the detail of how to partner, and everyone just follow along, just listen very, very carefully, because this is the clue. The more deeply you relaxed you are, if you're standing up, like myself as a healer with somebody on a healing table, I was standing. You guys can lie down, and that is the optimal thing to do if you want to follow these beings and watch what they're doing. And the reason is, excuse me, the reason is is because the deeper our level of relaxation, in terms of our logic, in terms of our conscious self, the more relaxed we are, the more they can reveal and show us, because the more our logic is tight and trying to control and trying to see, you guys hearing this? It's very counterintuitive. So the more you're trying to see, the more you're kind of holding onto your logic, the less they can actually come in and show you. The more you're in snooze mode, not asleep, not unconscious, but just semi. So lying down, letting the conscious logic just calm down until you kind of just, your thoughts are wafting along, and then you let your conscious self, and we're going to go into this in a moment of how to call them in and start interacting with them and pointing to the issue that you want them to work on. But just shooting past that just for a moment, deep in the session, and you're wanting to watch what they're doing, it is about mental quiet, mental stillness, mental calm, just calm, where your logic's just quiet and right down. It is a little bit just like before falling asleep, very quiet, very calm. And then they can start giving you what I will call impressions. And if you're just starting out, it's our skill to catch the impressions. And sometimes, and Lorraine, you were just mentioning past lives and things like that. I learned quite a long time ago, excuse me, when I was doing therapy, for example, we would drill right into deep issues and we would look at the reasons why, and we'd unpeel the depths and the layers of issues. Something I learned with working with these high spirit technicians is they genuinely, these couple of things, they work so fast. And they're telling me to say right now also, and I learned this decades ago working with them, is that they're not interested in ripping, the top off a wound. They're not interested in reactivating the trauma and attaching and connecting your human conscious self back into the trauma. So they're not interested in rubbing your nose back into the trauma and for you to have another sniff of that trauma. They're not interested. They're saying from their point of view, it's not necessary. All the integrations and the permissions, when a deep psychic trauma is cleaned and cleared, all of those permissions and releases and and fear and elevation and release. Yeah, I guess I'm just repeating that. But all of that just happens, they're telling me to say, from their point of view, in a really logical way, because they're doing it very systematically. They know what they're doing. They're doing it incredibly deliberately. And they know what they do first and then second and third and fourth. But in terms of going back into a past life or getting a feel for the trauma, they're actually saying it's actually unnecessary. And I learned working with these advanced beings is that they just want to go in, do the cleanup, do the renegotiations with any shadow teams of beings that were involved in an initial trauma somewhere, because that's part of what actually happens. They actually have to deal with sentient teams of shadow beings that are holding a trauma in place, which could be part of a memory sitting somewhere in that matrix. So that is part of the healing, but then also pulling out, as mentioned earlier, pulling out shadow frequency, replacing that with new light software, which is very powerfully instructed to start healing. All of that, they prefer to do that very quickly and to just get on with the job and just to complete the job. So they actually don't need us to sort of awaken again to the trauma, right? Or even to know the story. And this is new for a lot of healers because a lot of healers think that it's important for the integration to actually have a feeling, to feel through the story again. So with these higher advanced beings, they do the integration in the deep unconscious. All of that is repatterned correctly so that you're actually sitting on an integrated platform. You don't need to worry about that. That's done. And they're telling me it's done very softly, very accurately, very correctly. They are impeccable in how they work in the deep human unconscious. So nothing's left hanging, right? Which is so important as healers because we really want to do it correctly. We want to make sure that it's all properly cleaned up and everything's integrated so that, you as a human bounce off that platform strong, right? Strong and clean and healed. Just letting you know that I'm just from a healer's point of view, we feel like sometimes we have a responsibility to use a system. And from their point of view, it's a slightly too slow a system for them to go drilling back into all the feelings and all the trauma. To them, they just go, okay, let's just clean and repattern and put you back again strongly, back, nice and clean platform, ready to go. So just letting you know that that's part of, I learned how to just move fast with them with that, coming from a slightly older framework, moving into a newer framework with them. on that. But good question, really good question. But the key thing that I was just mentioning earlier was how to watch them, how to go really quiet and really calm and really soft inside of yourself and let go of logic, put your logic on the shelf and open up. You know, when I take people on spirit journeys, I'm always saying, just pretend you're a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old where you have no idea what's about to happen, and just play with your imagination screen. This is something new also for a lot of people. I'm very big on this, of switching on your imagination, switching on your pretend mode, because your poor old logic, which is just 10% of your consciousness, just get it out of the way, because that huge part of you knows what's going on. And that's when they can give you those impressions way below your logic, like fast feeling impressions and knowings. So that's a really important part of letting go, surrendering, but opening up your conscious awareness. So you're in snooze mode, but you're deciding to stay aware, deciding to connect to the process, even though you're very, 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 very relaxed. You guys hearing that sort of juxtaposition there? Anyway, that's the clue. You're fishing for the impressions. As you're really, really relaxed, you're fishing for what they're trying to show you. The other thing they said to me actually before we started was they actually want to show you what they're doing. They really do want to show you. They really do want to take you on the journey and show you what they're doing. They're so excited to show you what it's like in the worlds of spirit and how the whole thing works. Lorraine, sorry, chatting away. Have you got a question?
Oh, thank you. We're really ready to experience that. There are some questions in our Q&A box, but we'll get to those after this process, if you'd like.
Yep, let's go, because there's so much fun to be had, everybody. I'm just checking to see if they have anything else to prepare your minds to look out for. Won't be a moment. Just feeling in. Okay, let's go, everyone. So I'd like everyone to, I think we're going to just, not so much psychological issues, but we're going to go into, because the fun really is those maps, those energy maps under our physical body. Yeah. I was going to tell a couple of stories, but we don't really need to go into those, of how I just first discovered a lot of things like this in those very early days. But so I want everyone to, you know, have a think inside yourself. Do you have an area in your body that gets regular issues, right? Is it in the pelvic area? Is it lung issues? You know, is it one side of the body that gets most of the injuries or most of the issues in the physical body? You know, we could even talk about stress-related issues and inflammation and cortisol in the body. And if you're just running too fast in your life, right? And you just think, oh my God, you know, kidneys and cortisol and inflammation, just even thinking about that. Or even thinking about stomach issues and digestive issues. Yeah. Or if you even have an injury, something that's just not going away. So I just want you just to feel in and choose. We're going to choose just one area of the body. Lorraine, have you chosen one? You don't have to tell us what it is, but you have.
I'm going to be in the snooze mode as well.
Yeah, so good.
Turned off, but I'm here. We'll see you after this beautiful process.
Okay. All right, everybody. So closing the eyes. And I'm going to teach you how to call in these higher spirit beings. And they were talking to me just before we started to use my name. So because you're listening to me in the sound of my voice, you've connected to me. And in your private world with your worlds of spirit, they know who I am because it's like an internet, it's a network. They've connected to me. And so your personal spirit teams and also my personal spirit teams have connected. So I'm going to give you a phrase, which is Alicia's advanced spirit technicians. So when you're calling them in, I've had partnerships now for 30 years that have gone higher and higher and higher. And with the height comes speed and authority to change fabric, consciousness fabric, and also those energy blueprints under the physical body. So I'm going to invite you to use that terminology, Alicia's advanced spirit technicians. So yeah, just closing the body, closing the eyes, and just taking some deep breaths. And the pattern of instructing is something like this. And the more formal, the better, because your unconscious sort of sits up and takes notice. So you could say something like this: I, and you could say your name, in this moment in time, call upon Alicia's advanced spirit technicians. And I do want to say that it would help if you repeated that 3 times, right? So once, twice, and 3 times. And as you're repeating them, your unconscious, the worlds of spirit, it's like a bell going off. They are hearing you, your deep unconscious, the connection to your intention. So the longer that you are speaking those words in your mind, they've got the time to find you in the matrix, in the quantum worlds. So it's a very powerful way of kind of commanding energy, repeating 3 times. And the next thing I want you to do is to speak normally like a human to them and point them to the issue, the area in your human body that has something that's malfunctioning or is not optimal or needs help, needs clearing. The energy underneath it needs clearing so that it can start to heal, start to strengthen. And describe to the teams what it feels like for you as a human, how it feels, how the issue feels for you. How long it's been. So you're telling the story of how it started, how long it's been happening, what it feels like for you in your human body. Out of 10, how much discomfort you have. And now listening carefully from your point of view, from your perspective as a human, how you're experiencing it, right? And all the while, as you're describing this, the teams are arriving. They're starting to come closer and closer to you. They're bringing their huge electromagnetic energy fields, connecting to your energy field and slowly bringing, immersing their energy field in with yours, bringing themselves in, superimposing their energy field into your energy field. Some of you will feel that connection, the energetic connection of them arriving more sensitively than others. And if you can't, please don't worry, because if you've instructed them to arrive 3 times, like I said, like hitting that bell 3 times, they will hear you and they will start to arrive. And if you feel a little bit concreted and you can't feel anything, don't worry, they are arriving. And they're showing me actually right now, they're starting to scan and going deep into the area of your body where that has an issue. They're starting to read it like a book. They're starting to what they call understand it. And they're asking for patience because they love to take their time to read. And as you can imagine, there's a lot to read. Sometimes it's that multi-layered past life book of what happened, how it happened, who was involved, what the story was. And quite often they're saying to me to let you guys know that sometimes it's an emotional moment in your life, in this life maybe, or sometimes they're telling me to say that you're overriding tiredness, where you're working too hard and just overriding yourself. And that can be out of a subliminal fear of not being good enough, subliminal fear of not feeling loved, or projecting that people don't like you, so you're working too hard to please them, all kinds of things. And it's deep subliminal fear that comes from, who knows, childhood wounds, patterns of interacting with other people. All of that, it's like a tunnel like going down and reading all those subtle feeling dynamics and where they originate from. So that's why they're asking for patience, because they want to understand it all. And each one of you is so unique. It could have been a little accident or a sudden acute issue that starts to just erupt up and something's not working properly in your body and you're going, wow. And the other thing is that it does happen to me, like if we're just walking out and about, lower frequency entities do jump into our beautiful, pristine aura and lodge themselves in your hip, in a joint area somewhere, and they just start flicking switches and start deteriorating that energy map, the energy blueprint. That happens as well. I need to let you guys know. Oh my goodness, I'm on the lookout for that quite a bit. Okay, so they're telling me they're ready to start, like, fun, kind of hilarious, like getting fistfuls of sadness frequency, getting fistfuls of the blueprint matrices of light that are broken, that are sort of caked with fear energy, or perhaps some kind of a sentient low frequency being is sitting in there holding it in a holding pattern, stuck with a fear frequency that's impacting in on that blueprint matrix. So they're starting right now to vacuum and to break all that concrete up and to start vacuuming it out. That's what they're starting to do. Now, I really love to do this thing, and I think I've talked about this before, perhaps, a long time ago, but sometimes I love to, and I'm very aware that there are many levels and layers of that stuck concreted energy, and I like to switch on my imagination sometimes and create a visual for myself of a vacuum cleaner nozzle, and then switch on my imagination and start pulling energy out as well. If I want to, you can do that if you want to as well. And my spirit teams are saying it's fine if you do that, because it could be a different layer of energy that starts getting vacuumed out. And just watch the color of the energy that's being pulled out as well. You can do that if you want to. Or just relax and let's play at switching on our imagination, letting these spirit teams know that we would love to get an impression of what they're doing. And feel free to what I would call refresh the instruction, which is repeat the instruction to them that you would love to watch or get an impression of what they're doing, because they do love to just shoot an impression towards you sometimes, a feeling, a sense of what they're doing. They love that relationship with you, with your conscious self. Something that I sometimes get shown is like a soft ball of light that's gone into the area, and suddenly it feels very contracted, like the light, the softness contracts into like almost like a solid ball of energy. And then that solid ball of energy gets pulled out. So they're giving me the impression of constriction and the intensity of that shadow energy by making it feel almost solid. And then they show me that it's getting pulled right out and pushed right out of my energy field. It's one of the visuals they like to give me. Just giving you an example there. And once it's pulled out of my auric field, I know that the rest of the repatterning just that's happens of the new light going in, the new software going in after that. It's almost like a pattern of the healing. And while we're in there, I'm going to teach you to, and I suggest doing this every day, almost before you get out of bed. Very similar, we're deep in this process with these teens. And this is relating to your soul purpose and being aligned with your soul purpose every day. But what we're going to be doing is phrasing an instruction to them about a blockage to that alignment. So the phrase is, what is blocking my soul purpose? Please heal that blockage. That's the instruction. What is it that's blocking my soul purpose? Please heal that blockage. So you're actually referring to and pointing to energy in that matrix, in your soul field, very similar to the physical blueprints going into the soul blueprint. So we're just moving from helping you see how beautiful this interaction with them is, that this partnership with them is, that every day, if you, just before you wake up, open your eyes, invite them to do this, to go into your auric field and find the blockage to your soul purpose. No matter how advanced we are on our spiritual path, they will find in our soul field a fear that's stopping us from showing up, that's stopping us from lifting into a higher height of being in our higher soul self throughout that day. It's a sacred blockage in a way, and that's the path of us being human, this path of awakening and transmuting these blockages. And this is one of the beautiful rewiring moments. So you can ask, what is blocking my soul purpose? And please heal that block. So when you give that instruction, they will go in, scan slowly, and find that energy blockage, that fear blockage from a soul level. And they will quietly, over a moment, transmute it, dissolve it. If it's a big one, they'll take a big chunk out of it. And my recommendation is to do that every morning. So let's do that now. What is blocking my soul purpose? And please heal that blockage. All right, everyone. If you feel to, you can take a deep breath and, wow, just give your love and give your appreciation to your spirit teams. They're telling me to say that they aren't finished, and they will just stand aside just for a moment as we're completing the call. And if you feel to, you can just lie down on a bed or just stay sitting and keep your eyes closed after we finish this call, and continue to instruct them and point to places in your body, in your soul, that you'd love them to start that domino process, start the ball rolling with taking a look at the matrix, the energy matrix underneath, the light matrix underneath any other physical issues, so that they can just start taking a look, assessing, scanning, so they can get familiar with your needs, and so that you start talking to them regularly. All it takes is a moment of focus. If you do it every day, your issues will clear faster. It's the same thing with your beautiful declaration with your soul purpose and the blockage, pointing the spirit team's attention to any blockage every morning, every day before you get out of bed, so that they have an opportunity just to clean your soul field and to strengthen all of those blockages, all of those fear resonances from past lives on a soul level as well. And they're telling me to request to you to do this, if not every day, many times throughout the week, and to make it an internal priority. You know how we have internal disciplines about how to just stay balanced in our life? This is one of those disciplines, is turning to these spirit teams and having a quiet moment. It could be when you come back from work, you're still sitting in the car, you haven't got out of the car, and you decide to take a moment to close your eyes and invite them to come in and to clean your auric field from the day before you walk into your family. Or it could be in the beginning of the day before you open your eyes, before you get out of bed. But having that repeated, beautiful connection to these spirit beings, building that trust with them, and them letting them come in to your aura, letting them come in to that energy map that's underneath your physical body, and starting to heal regularly. I was just wanting to say, with my family member with that leg, I was told every single day I had to go in there and let these teams scan and repair that energy matrix every day. And it's healed beautifully over a period of time. So just letting you know that it needs to, our human attention just needs to have that sacred moment with these teams, let them come in, let them do their work. It's completely up to you. But your life moving forward as you walk through your day, and as you walk right through your life from now onwards, you have serious help, serious help to fulfill your soul, and serious help to support your psychology, your emotions, and your physical body. I do want to say I'm not a medical professional and I'm not a therapist. And if you've got serious issues, of course, reach for professional help. Very important, really important, because the subtle energy work creates a strengthening, underpinning the physical tissue. But if you're in an acute situation where something really needs intervention, my spirit teams are saying to me, please use that intervention. It's very important. Thank you, everybody. Lorraine, did you want to say something?
Wow, Alicia and the creator beings, I feel great right now. I hope everyone is feeling the beauty and the great love of support from this session today. It was really incredible to relax into this and feel into this. I know Randy in our audience says that he was feeling the energy of this already. Randy, we hope that this helps you as well with your issue. And just to have the protocol to bring in the creator beings, I don't want to let them go. I want to just continue hanging with them and being with them. And it really is beautiful. And I saw that gold orb of light as well, for an area, an acute area for me. And it feels so good right now. So I'll let you know how that goes. because I did go to the doctor, antibiotics and stuff, and I don't really like that. But this seemed to be an extra bolster, an extra energetic serum for the situation. So thank you for that. This has been different than what we've done normally with the creator beings, as you were mentioning.
Yeah, I know. I was sort of thinking, gosh, my audience will be going, what is she doing? but but they just really wanted to, because honestly, just really quickly, we've been working so intensively with very, very high light for a couple of months, and they really just wanted to let everybody take a breath and just come into this kind of practical, physical support situation for us, right? They just wanted to just calm all that down.
It's it is so precious, and yeah, just to be shown our energy map, it really is incredible. I would like to, well, there's a couple of questions. I just want to say as well that Alicia, you do live streams every month with the creator beings. And we have a special offer for, I'm going to drop this into our chat line in the Zoom, because this is for people to go wherever you and the creator beings go each month. The next one is coming up in September, and the link is right there, everyone, for the 6 months of creator being live streams with Alicia. Everything's recorded. And if you thought this was deep and refreshing, that's even deeper and longer time with the creator beings. Did you want to say anything about that? And then we'll go to some questions.
Thank you, Lorraine. These 1.5 hour monthly live, flying into the worlds of spirit and watching them and partnering with them are quite mind-blowing, actually. They take us high into the regions of light in the worlds of spirit and stand us under waterfalls of light, and the activation and the software upgrades of our soul fields is off the scale. And that light pours through us into the collective, into the human collective, into Mother Earth. So we act as pipes for super high creator light that's coming down and changing the frequency that's surrounding Mother Earth and humanity as a collective as well. Huge work, but also for our own personal soul upgrade as well, and our personal soul advancement. And the result, the outcome of that type of highlight software coming into us is that we claim our integration into our soul self much more quickly. Did that make sense? Our integration into our soul self. So yeah, and the grafting of our soul selves into our human consciousness. But even more than that, my spirit teams are saying that we start walking and talking as a faucet, like a tap, with water pouring out of it, or a fire hydrant. We start talking in our holographic world, a holographic life, as a pump for that highlight. So it's a beautiful support to the need at this time for higher light globally. And we become a part of that. We become an extension of their light. So it's a beautiful purpose to hold. And those live streams are seriously mind-boggling and beyond words. We always feel at the end of these live streams like, how did that just go a step higher this time? And every single time it's a step higher. It's more mind-boggling than the last one. So anyway, they are incredible, very powerful. And you're more than welcome, everyone, to come in. I love your audience, Lorraine.
We love you. We love the creator beings and the work. I mean, I've heard from people who have gone and worked with the creative beings, and it really is life-changing, Alicia. Amazing, life-changing, life transformational. And they're here for us. And so it's so beautiful. Enjoy this time with the creator beings and Alicia. Please, you can sign up for that. What a gift. What a really awesome gift, 6 months with the creator beings. Of course, you can just come once a month and just pay for that at your time, but it's such an incredible bonus that they're all bundled for 6 months. And so think in 6 months, your connection with these creator beings will be even deeper. And it's so precious. I love it. Thank you. So I would like to share a few questions. Here's one from Janet, and this is about working with someone who wants to receive a healing and you are in a room full of people. How would you allow the healing to take place so the person feels that they're receiving a healing? In other words, if a person is lying on a massage table and you've been asked to do a healing on someone, do you just stand on the side of the person and in your head you talk to the guides, spirit healers in attendance on the other side? What is the protocol in working with someone that has asked for a healing?
Wow. I just want to say that that's a slightly mind-blowing question because there's just a lot of protocols around putting yourself in that position as a door for these spirit beings. There's a lot of colleges, energy healing colleges and spiritual healing colleges that you can learn how to do energy healing so that your conscious self is aware of who you're drawing in and how to be a conduit. So there's tons of training on that. I'm just saying. But if you have had no training, I think it's very, very important to get some training. You might want to be taught the reiki systems because there's an initiation process involved, not just conscious logical training on where to put your hands on specific joints or parts of the body to start the energy flowing, and the different patterns of movement of your body so that the spirit world can begin the energy flow through you. So I'm helping you understand that there's systems to this. If you don't know anything about energy healing and you want to sort of try it out and see if something like this works and you're brand new to it, the very first thing I'm being told, the very first thing is for you to start learning how to dialogue with the worlds of spirit first, so that you know what type of spirit being, so that you're vetting and building relationships with clean light spirit beings, so that you've got a little bit of practice with turning to the worlds of spirit, with knowing what kind of spirit beings are coming through you. It's a moment of channeling. And that moment of channeling is fraught with fragility, fraught. And so don't do that easily. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, be aware that that moment, if you have zero practice of doing it and you're starting it for the first time, be aware that you're walking through a door into a world, a quantum world, which is populated with many types of beings. And you need to understand a little bit about how that operates. I'm just saying, if you're going to open yourself up to channeling, it's, from my point of view, you know, as an instructor, I've been doing this and teaching this for 30 years, be very careful. On the other hand, you could have somebody lying on a table or on a couch and put your hands on their ankles very lightly. These joint points are minor chakra points, and put your hands on your ankles. If you've built a relationship with energy beings, I'm also really big on building relationships with specific teams of energy beings and knowing who it is that's coming through. That's just me. That's how I've always worked. I'm just trying to think. I sort of am a little bit, because if you use the words Alicia's spirit technicians, it's very high advanced beings that would show up, and it could actually be a little bit too much for that moment. Definitely don't do that on a child. Don't use Alicia's spirit technicians on a child. I'm trying to say it's a huge subject. Like, I'm finding it a little bit difficult to know where to start because it's such a big question. It's like, well, how do I start energy healing? It's like, wow, how about sort of plugging into a college that teaches you how to do it? Maybe I should just say that. But the college, the Barbara Brennan style of healing, oh my God, she's just incredible. Barbara Brennan, Brennan, and get her book, buy her book, Hands of Light. That's the book I got when I first started. You've got visual pictures of the aura of all the energy bodies. It's a huge textbook, A4 size, of working in the energy bodies and the psychology of the energy bodies. You can start learning about it. Hands of Light, Barbara Ann Brennan.
Okay, that is good. And so, for example, if someone is a Reiki master, Janet says, I am a Reiki master. But based on what you taught us today, I'm asking how to work with your protocol with the energy maps today.
Yeah, well, in that case, it's in that moment as you're working with the Reiki symbols, for example, you could invite these Alicia spirit technicians, advanced spirit technicians, to come in. And I'm just recollecting 30 years ago in those deep sessions when I was doing energy work professionally for decades. So invite them to come in, because different teams come in. Even though you're a Reiki master and anybody working with Reiki, you are working with spirit teams. They do start coming in. It's the person's own spirit lineages that come and attend in that moment, but also if you're calling on specific teams. So you can call on Alicia's advanced spirit technicians. They may or may not come. The appropriate ones may come, because I'm hearing that you're comfortable with working in the worlds of spirit. And then as your hands are on that person, an envelope of energy will just flow over you. You and that person and their aura will intertwine, and there'll be an amplification of subtle spirit energy in you, and you will feel yourself go into a zone. Your logical mind will become very small, and that bigger part of you will start expanding. And it's in that moment, right? You've gone into like a cocoon. It takes a while, takes a moment, 10 minutes maybe. So it's gone deeper and deeper and deeper. So you're connecting into that cocoon, you're part of it. They're working, they'll probably start showing you in that moment. If you're experienced like you're saying you are, and you ask them to show you, they'll start showing you. They are so keen to educate our logical minds of what they're doing, to show us. And we pick it up real fast as we're watching. We go, oh, yep, that ray of light. This is just an example. In that moment, there's a ray of light going into their third eye or into their chakra, their throat chakra. And 1 minute, it's like a hammer, jackhammer, breaking up concrete. The next minute, that same ray of light's acting like a vacuum cleaner. The next minute, that same ray of light is downloading new software. So as you're watching, you're knowing, they're giving you instant knowings of what they're doing with their intention and with how that scalpel of light is working. So it's about what you're giving permission and your request to them, that interaction between you and the teams, the technician teams, letting them know you want to watch and learn. They are into that. Teaching you. Thanks for letting us know, Janet, that you're comfortable in that space. So cool. Yeah. Very good.
Very good. Yeah, I see the day that this becomes mainstream in our medical field, partnering with senior spirit allies. Absolutely. Incredible work that you're doing, Alicia. All right, here's 2 more questions. We've got Bridget. What do the creator beings have to say about teenagers going through an awakening? My son has been going through so much over the last 3 years, and he says he feels everything in the collective so much so he can't go outside. How can the beings help him?
Man, I relate to that. Yes, it must be very tough. I have not had children, so I haven't witnessed the unfolding, of a beautiful human as they're getting older and older, and especially if they're a sensitive soul. And I do want to say it's our role, and I'm being told to say this, it's our role to shelter them, because the world out there is tough. Shadow is in so many people, and shadow controls the consciousness of so many people. And if a sensitive young person is around that, they will be feeling subliminally, they will be feeling downloads of that shadow into them, and just feeling like a prickly porcupine. It's like, oh my God, it's just like a spear. I'm in a swimming pool of this kind of intense energy. How do I cope? And, you could start, just an idea just coming to my mind now. Won't be a moment. You could start a protocol of every day. If that person is in your household, you could start a protocol of giving them a little energy healing every day, asking them to lie down on a couch, maybe at the end of the day, and putting your hands on their ankles. It's such a simple thing to do. And inviting the spirit world of love and light. Because all of us have got lineages of beautiful attending spirit mentors that are walking with us in this lifetime. And they don't have to be the creator beings. I'm just letting you know, because there are many different layers of authority and different department heads of the worlds of spirit that are walking with you, according to what part of your awakening you're in, right? So to support someone like that, a beautiful teenager, just lie them on the couch, put your hands on their ankles in the evening, let them snooze, and let beautiful worlds of spirit come in and calm their auric field and sweep it, and just pull out some of the fear, some of the downloads from the day. And literally what can happen is that person gets stronger and more comfortable in themselves, instead of sort of feeling spiky and kind of really, I can imagine a lot of sensitive teenagers would be like this, just walking on a cat on a hot tin roof, just so uncomfortable in themselves because there's so many downloads through the day and they don't know what to do with it. It's like spiky software inside themselves, and it's kind of making them feel so sort of irritated or just triggered, easily triggered. And all it is really is these shadow downloads from the day where they've been. So, harnessing that partnership with the worlds of spirit and getting them to come in and sweep and clean and vacuum that auric field every single day. It really is consistency. We kind of hate that, don't we? As humans, it's like exercise. Oh, I've got to be consistent, right? To build muscle and to get fit, I have to do it every day. It's a little bit like that. You go, oh, okay, I've got to actually do it every day, and to build that strength. So that's just an idea. That's what I would do.
Thank you. That is so helpful. And I know we're going to be doing it with our loved ones as well and our friends. Thank you. It's just a powerful expression of our humanness to be the healers that we are, partnering with spirit beings. Yes, thank you. Okay. All right. Quick question. When we do the live streams, Lori asks, is the body automatically upgraded as well in the live streams?
No, not necessarily, because the focus is not on that. The focus is on the higher soul bodies. So the live streams are not designed for the physical tissue to be interacted with. It's totally designed for flying into the worlds of spirit and being with very high, elevated, super advanced, super speedy soul technicians that are focused on your soul memory, on your Akashic records, on the trauma in your soul memory. That's their focus, is to find the trauma, to go into it, to unravel it like a piece of something, wiring, to go in there, renegotiate, and to clean it up, because we've got so many points of trauma in our soul memory, and they're wanting to strengthen our soul fabric, because it does impact and relate to our psychology. It does relate to our strength as a human. It relates to how realities unfold for us. It relates to health. So the soul, much higher up in those octaves of the soul body going upwards, that's where the focus is. And also to meld those higher soul fields into the light of the creator being, so that it opens that faucet, that column of light down, where we become that walking, talking power, what's the word? Powerhouse, like of light. And I just want to say that's beyond our logic, and we can't see it, but it starts happening. Life can change. Life can change the more light is in your auric field and the higher frequency that light is. Realities can unfold for you much more easily, more softly, more aligned to your soul. Just letting you know, there's real life outcomes for that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Join Alicia on Fridays, Friday nights, Saturday mornings if you're in Australia. All right. Here we go. Simona got in a question here. This is interesting. Simona says, if this is a hologram and I'm the only one here, then the other person, my partner, for example, is reflecting what is deeply embedded in me. Would my healing with the creator beings be mirrored in my partner? Is that how it can work?
Simone. Sorry.
With his leg, is that my mirror, she asks? Will my personal healing with the creator beings be reflected in him?
I didn't catch the very last piece of that. Do you want to just repeat?
I'm kind of going between two. So if this is a hologram and I'm the only person here, then the other person, my partner, for example, is reflecting what is deeply in me. If he has trouble with his leg, is it my mirror? Will my personal healing with creator beings be reflected in him?
Okay, so Simone, I think you and I have talked about this before, but there's many, that there's many layers of dimensions, and when we're embodying ourselves and the whole sort of role or the whole circumstance of being in the physical, my spirit teams are saying, then you deal in the physical. It's like going to a doctor, right? Or going to a surgeon if you've had an accident, and then putting your bone back again, right? It's important to deal with the physical and the physical dimension. Do you get that, right, Simone? So when the creator beings are working really high up in your electromagnetic field, and that expansion in your consciousness, and that feeling of ownership and sovereignty, and knowing that you are the soul in this physical dimension, and somebody's injured, right? Somebody's physical body is injured. You still deal with it in the physical. So even though you are in that expanded high soul state, knowing that you're a soul in this holographic experience, you still deal in the physical with the physical at that physical level. So, if it's a broken bone, you deal with the broken bone. And so this is important. And I know that you're asking about ownership and owning all realities as part of yourself, which is beautiful. But don't get confused, and don't make it don't create a sadness in you if you feel that something on the outside, like in your partner, where something's happening to them, and you're not good enough because you haven't felt enough sovereignty as a soul and shifted in you that, and because you're trying to shift something on the outside. So don't let that become a glitch inside of you, right? It's really important to stay humble and open to the processes and open to the learning curve with your creative beings. It's an incredible thing of walking in this hologram, not understanding much about it. Not our logical mind, not understanding much about this holographic situation, this holographic experience, and knowing we're a soul. There's a humility to that. There's a courage and a braveness to that of just keep walking forward as a soul, knowing that we kind of don't really understand how this is working, that we're in a hologram, but it feels really solid. So the logic's trying to scramble and wrap its head around it, but we don't really understand it. So what the spirit teams are saying right now to you is, don't let that become a sadness in you that you haven't achieved enlightenment enough yet, that you can't magically change realities on the outside just by your level of empowerment and merging with your higher soul selves and being in that soul embodiment perspective, right? Don't get too stressed about that. And just deal with it. A good friend of mine is a very, just really quickly, just comes to an example, very advanced spiritual person, but, you know, this person's the kind of person that if he's told me a story, comes across an accident, and some young kids have had a bad accident, and this person's such a warrior, and he just fixes them all up, and oh my God, puts them back together again and disappears even before the ambulances even arrive, right? It's just dealing with the physical body, you know, supporting it. So if your partner's got an issue, a physical issue, drop down the line into the physical and deal with it on a physical issue. And that's why it's important for all of us to skill up around therapy, around frameworks, psychological frameworks, so that we do understand why we've got wounding, why we've got reflexes, why we've got triggers, and have so much compassion for ourselves, understanding how all that rolls, so that we're not down on ourselves, so that we understand it. Hey, and the big one is, this is something that my nose was rubbed in 30 years ago when I started to partner with these spirit teams. Part of those understanding frameworks is understanding how shadow works for me. Because then you understand why someone's acting the way they are. It's not you don't let them push you over or control you, but you know exactly what's going on, right, in someone else. You understand it, and that means that you can look after yourself better because you know what's happening to that person and you know what's controlling them. So you can make decisions a little bit more accurately and correctly about your own managing yourself in that moment. So it's all about skilling up and learning. And I'm talking about in relationships and partnerships and when you're dealing with other people. Anyway, I hope that helps. Not sure if that answered your question, but
yes, thank you. Thank you. She says thank you. Awesome. Okay. Wow. Well, Alicia, again, this has been another amazing episode with you. We have major kudos for you in our chat line. People love the live streams. They love all the work that you do. It really is remarkable and amazing.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you for being so steadfast with this information and for sharing it. For 30 years, it's a tireless effort that you're on, and it's changing our world. We really thank you. And
thank you, Lorraine.
And wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have lifted us to a new place, and we're feeling really good right now. So as we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment for final thoughts.
Wow. Well, my spirit team said the training today was for a reason, and the reason is incorporating it into your life. Pull it in as a daily practice. And they're just saying that, you know, your life will just elevate, physical, emotional. And by the way, you know how we went into the blueprints Same for if you've got an anxious thought loop or a feeling of stress. Just yesterday, I think it was. And I do this regularly. Just quick example. If you're feeling stressed and it's like, hey, hang on a minute. Because I'm smart enough now to notice if the feeling of stress, it's actually an issue in my blueprints. There's a shadow frequencies downloaded in. And sure enough, if I turn my attention to my spirit teams, they pull it out. Poof, gone, just gone. Thought loop, anxious thought loop's gone, just letting you know. So pulling it into your day, physical issues, psychological, emotional issues. So that's their request. Use it.
We will be putting it into practice. And, I know many of us are still with the creator beings right now, still with them. Okay. Alicia, thank you so much. This has been remarkable, incredible, beautiful.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Lorraine.
Yes, everyone here, thank you as well for your beautiful light and for this journey that we're on. We're all doing this, bringing New Earth into the forefront and changing our world and our lives of those that we love. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And thank you for joining us in this special time when it's morning hours in Australia. And we're so glad that we can wrap the planet with love. Thank you all. And thank you, Alicia and the creator beings. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.